The Desert Prince, in the heart of a sprawling desert, where the sands whispered secrets of ancient times, two young adventurers, Alex and Sarah, traversed the dunes under the blistering sun. Their backpacks were laden with tools and trinkets, each piece hopeful to unearth histories long buried beneath the shifting sands. Alex, with his keen eye and boundless curiosity, was the first to notice the oddity in the landscape, a series of stones that seemed too symmetrically placed to be the work of nature. "Look over there," he called out to Sarah, pointing towards what appeared to be an arrangement of weathered stones emerging from the fine sand. Sarah, who had a knack for historical lore, quickened her pace, her thoughts racing with possibilities. As they approached, she recognized the formation as an ancient marker, typically used to signify hidden royal entries. "This could be something big," she murmured, her voice a mix of excitement and reverence. Together, they cleared the sand, uncovering a stone slab that served as a doorway to what lay below. With effort, they managed to push it aside, revealing a staircase descending into darkness. With their flashlights piercing the gloom, they ventured down into the cool, musty air of a forgotten realm. At the bottom of the stairs, they emerged into a cavernous hall, its walls adorned with vibrant frescoes depicting a kingdom unlike any known to the modern world. At the center of this hall stood a figure that seemed to pulse with life, despite its impossibility. Before them was Prince Sandar, a dinosaur of majestic stature and regal bearing, his scales shimmering with the hues of the desert. Prince Sandar spoke, his voice deep and melodic, carrying the weight of centuries. "Welcome, travelers, to the hidden kingdom of Sandsar. You stand within the realm protected by sandstorms and magic, a kingdom I've ruled since the times when these sands were seas." He shared the peril looming over his kingdom, a colossal sandstorm, stirred by dark magic, threatening to erase his realm from memory. It was a storm that Sandar alone could not control, for its power was amplified by the treachery of a banished advisor, seeking revenge. Moved by the prince's plight and driven by their love for adventure, Alex and Sarah pledged to help. Thus began their quest, not just for treasure, but for the survival of a kingdom that time had forgotten. As they prepared to depart, Prince Sandar equipped Alex and Sarah with enchanted talismans, amulets that shimmered with the same hues as his scales. These would protect them from the lesser dangers of the desert and guide them towards their goal. "These will aid you as we traverse the dunes of echoes," Sandar explained, his tail swishing gently over the sand, drawing lines that glowed briefly with a soft light. Their first challenge awaited in the dunes of echoes, a place where every whisper was returned by the sands, distorted and sometimes revealing hidden truths. It was here that the first artifact, the Scepter of Winds, was hidden. Legend said it could command the very breezes that swept across the kingdom. Navigating the dunes proved treacherous. The sands shifted unpredictably, creating sudden sinkholes and towering dunes within moments. Sarah, using her knowledge of ancient symbols, guided them through, interpreting the warnings etched into stone markers barely visible under the sand. Meanwhile, Alex's agility and quick thinking saved them from several collapses, his actions almost a dance with the desert itself. They reached an ancient temple, half swallowed by sand, its gates guarded by statues of jackals with eyes of gleaming ruby. As they approached, the statues stirred to life, snarling with stony menace. Sandar stepped forward, speaking words of old, his voice commanding yet soothing. The jackals bowed their heads, allowing them passage. Inside, the temple was a labyrinth of chambers, each booby-trapped and puzzle-laden. The trio worked together to navigate these hazards. Sarah deciphered the hieroglyphs that provided clues to safe paths, while Alex used his physical prowess to disable traps or create makeshift bridges. Sandar's knowledge of his ancestors' secrets opened hidden doors and revealed shortcuts. Their teamwork led them to the heart of the temple, where the scepter of winds was cradled by winds that whispered of ancient storms. As Sandar reached to claim it, the winds surged, testing his resolve. But with Alex and Sarah at his side, supporting him, the prince tamed the tempest with a whispered pact, and the scepter acknowledged its true master. Their victory was short-lived, however. As they exited the temple, the rogue advisor appeared, his form twisted by dark magic, surrounded by sand serpents hissing malice. "You tread paths not meant for you," he sneered, his voice like the grind of sand on bone. "The storm will bury all, and a new kingdom will rise, with me as its ruler." A fierce battle ensued. Sandar wielded the scepter of winds, commanding gusts that scattered the serpents. Alex and Sarah dodged and weaved, using the terrain to their advantage. Alex lured several serpents into traps they had avoided earlier, while Sarah found the weak spots in their sandy bodies, guiding Sandar's attacks. As the dust settled, the advisor fled, but not before hissing a warning. "This is but the first gust of the storm. My power grows with each grain of sand." Wearied but undeterred, the trio set their sights on the next artifact, the Stone of Storms, located in the perilous Mirage Canyons, where reality blended with illusion and their greatest challenges awaited. The Mirage Canyons lay before them, a landscape of jagged cliffs and narrow passages that shimmered under the harsh desert sun. As the trio ventured deeper, illusions danced at the edges of their vision, flickering images of oases, mirage dwellers offering false promises, and sand serpents coiled like shadows on the canyon walls. The Stone of Storms was said to rest at the heart of this labyrinth, hidden within the Chamber of Whispers. With the scepter of winds in hand, Sandar was their compass, guiding them through the canyon's twisting paths and dispelling the illusions with gusts of magical wind. At last they reached the Chamber of Whispers. Its entrance was guarded by a sand golem, towering and ancient, its eyes aglow with a dim fury. In a voice like grinding stone, the golem demanded their purpose. "We come to protect the kingdom," Sandar declared, raising the scepter. "The storm that threatens us is of unnatural origin, and we must wield the Stone of Storms to dispel it." The golem considered their words, then stepped aside, revealing the path within. Inside the chamber, Alex and Sarah marveled at the Stone of Storms, a crystal orb that pulsed with the energy of lightning, encircled by swirling sands. As Sandar approached, it seemed to react to his presence, the winds encircling him like a cloak. But before he could grasp it, the rogue advisor appeared, cloaked in dark magic and flanked by his serpentine minions. "Fools!" he bellowed, his eyes flashing with malice. "I will not be denied my kingdom." With a roar, he unleashed the full force of his magic, summoning a cyclone of sand and lightning that battered the walls of the chamber. The serpents lunged, forcing Alex and Sarah to the defensive. Sandar stood firm, wielding the scepter to deflect the worst of the storm, but it was clear that they would not hold out for long. Drawing on all they had learned during their journey, the trio fought back. Alex distracted the serpents by darting through the chamber, forcing them into the swirling sands. Sarah, recalling the ancient glyphs she had seen in the temple, began chanting the words that would unlock the stone's full power. With a final shout, Sandar thrust the scepter into the cyclone, channeling the stone's magic and creating a vortex that drew the storm within itself. In a flash of light, the cyclone collapsed, sending the serpents scattering into dust. The rogue advisor, stripped of his powers, fled into the shadows, never to return. With the storm dispelled and the kingdom saved, Sandar turned to Alex and Sarah, gratitude shining in his eyes. "You have proven yourselves worthy allies," he said, bowing his great head. "The kingdom is in your debt." Together they returned to the oasis, where a great celebration was held in their honor. The kingdom was safe, and the hidden sands once more lay under the watchful gaze of Prince Sandar. As they prepared to depart, Alex and Sarah looked out over the dunes, reflecting on the bonds they had forged and the lessons they had learned about bravery and unity. The kingdom would always remain a part of them, and they knew that in the shifting sands of life, the greatest treasures were the friendships they had made.